time, I talked about how to answer behavioral or situational questions using the STAR format technique. If you haven't watched that, I will link it below so that you can check it out. This time, I will talk about taking action and more strategies and red alerts when you are applying or when you are answering call center interview questions. Hey there Ninja! Welcome back to my channel once again. This is Rhea, and as usual in this channel we talk about call center tips and lifestyle so that you can begin, enjoy, and survive it. Now, if you are new here, I hope you consider subscribing. Just click the red subscribe button below. And thank you so much if you have been a part of this little call center ninja community that we have. So today, as mentioned, we are going to talk about taking action and some more insider tips, red alerts during your call center interview. And these are important tips because sometimes, you forget about the small things and you don't really notice that what you are planning to say may be a deal breaker or maybe a reason that your interviewer will not hire you. So let's talk about that. Here are some of my insider tips. Always remember, when asked about situational or behavioral questions, tip number 1, choose to share a situation that has a positive result or outcome so that you finish off strong and convincing. There are so many situations in our lives that have negative results, and although those are okay to be shared, but if you are not sure how you will turn that negative situation into positive, then it is best to not include that negative situation while you're answering call center questions or interview questions. So always go for the positive ones if you want your life to be much easier. Tip number 2, share a situation that highlights your skills and personality traits that can also be applicable to the job. So always think of how you can apply it to your job, to your future job, and how your behavior can contribute to the growth of the company. So when you're sharing something about your skills, don't just blurt out skills right there without thinking of how it can be beneficial to the company. For example, if you say that I'm a good basketball player, okay, so you're a good basketball player, and how does it apply to your job, right? I have been a good basketball player in school for 5 years, and during the duration of that time or my stay in the university, I have learned to be more disciplined and to be more professional, to show up during practice on time, and to treat my teammates and our competitors very well. And I believe that this skill and behavior can be applied to my job as a call center agent because we are treating the customers professionally and kindly. So there, you have to justify why being a good basketball player in school is something that can be beneficial to the company. Tip number 3, avoid being overly personal with your answers. Too much information is not good. You know when they say less is more and less talk, less mistake? Sometimes, yes, it's true, but don't also be a one-liner kind of person. You have to explain or elaborate your answers as much as possible without using too many flowery words or without beating around the bush. Personal answers may get you into trouble because sometimes the interviewers will ask you more follow-up questions, and you might get emotional and you might be too affected during the interview that it will distract you from answering the questions, right? Tip number 4. When sharing something about a problem or disappointment about your previous job, supervisor, or colleague, do your best to answer in a pleasant tone of voice and use positive body language. Your words might be positive, but what about your facial expression? So when you're asked about that and you say, Yeah, because my previous supervisor was so kind. Yeah, he said so kind, but your facial expression does not really show it. So just do your best to have a pleasant tone of voice. And tip number 5, don't wait for the interviewer to ask, so what did you do? So what happened when you did that? Don't wait for the interviewer to ask more follow-up questions. Instead, you have to state your answers in star format, as what we have discussed on the previous video, so that you can tell a story completely in one go. Example, when you say, when I was in the university, I really had to work hard because my professor was so strict. Period. If you just answered that, then your interviewer would have to ask, so what happened next? It's not really a good conversation, right? So again, that's why there's the star format. Tip number 6, experiences are powerful, but it doesn't matter if you are a graduate, undergraduate, with or without call center experience, with or without previous job experience. What matters is you share your experiences in life to highlight your skills and good behavior. May it be in school, at home, in the office, in the community, in the world, in the universe. Additionally, in addition, use past tense in behavioral or situational questions, except when you hear the interviewer say, what will you do? That what you will do is actually in the future. But when you're talking about the past, always use the past tense form of the verb. Now, this is just an additional information. During the last video, I mentioned that it will be best if you write down all the remarkable situations and experiences that happened in your past, and you can use those experiences so that you can gather answers when you are asked for a specific situation, or let's say there's a behavioral question. Think of the event in your life that made you stronger and made you even more prepared for a challenging career in the call center industry. So I have some examples here. Things that happened in college, like school projects, group homework, school events that you helped organize, interactions in the clubs or organizations that you joined in, school paper tasks, leadership tasks, sports, extracurricular activities. Think of those events. Things you did outside school. Were you a working student? Were you doing tutorials? Were you earning extra income from a side business? Previous jobs, whatever industry you were in, there's always something significant going on. Interactions with previous bosses, teammates, colleagues. So think about those things. Clients. And say you're an undergrad or a fresh grad. Did you have a family business that you helped with? Did you have a small business that you helped manage? Think of how you handled customers and clients in your small business. You can use those experiences during your behavioral or situational questions. Community involvement. Were you an SK chairman, counselor? Were you active in your church, nonprofit organization, blogging organization? Think of your interactions in the community. Online business, selling, or have you sold something online? For sure, you have dealt with customers in such a way. And if you are a parent, any activities or interactions in school, like PTA, and also your interactions with your family. And lastly, remember the typical red flags or signs that you may not be suitable for the call center job. Therefore, avoid mentioning these things. And, it doesn't mean though that when you mention these things, you will not be hired anymore, or when you don't mention these things, it's guaranteed that you will be hired. No, I'm just saying that, it will help you if you are going to avoid these things. So, the decision is really yours at the end of the day. Plans of studying abroad, plans of migrating or living abroad, taking the board exam or licensure examination, studying while working, applied to a gazillion call center companies, don't mention that. Plans to pursue master's degree? Nah. Reviewing for something, nursing, CPA, LET, IELTS, etc., etc. Applying because you're bored? Nah. Applying because you want to have fun and learn something new? Applying because you want to learn or enhance your English communication skills. So those are no-nos. Those are red flags. And your interviewer might think that, no, we can't hire this person. No. So let me just stress that I'm saying you should avoid saying these things or the red flags that I mentioned because I want you to increase your chances of getting hired. But please also don't use these things as an excuse to leave the job right away. I've been part of the support team for so long, and it's so frustrating when you felt like you've already hired the right person only to find out that that person will just leave the company after a few days or a few months. So if I were you, even though you're actually studying while working or you are reviewing for something, at least be responsible and professional in case you get hired. And if there is really a need for you to leave the company right away, then don't just leave. Be sure to submit a resignation or whatever is the proper way to do it in your company. The very, very, very last thing is believe in yourself. With proper preparation, you can do it. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video helps you and helped you and will help you, whatever. So if you like this content, please like, subscribe if you haven't yet. See you again on my next videos. Take care.